You're watching Mediaweek. Well, the ex-prostitute who's now recanted her allegations about Craig Thompson being a client has been the latest battleground between Today Tonight and A Current Affair. But could all of this have wider ramifications than just ratings? The government chief whip, Joel Fitzgibbon, has said that the reporting of the scandal offers more scope for the government to pursue firmer regulation of the media. And this all comes after retiring Greens leader Bob Brown called for tougher media regulation laws as he left Parliament. Well, for details on all of this, we have with us James Manning, editor and publisher of Mediaweek. James, just looking at what we've seen, could all that we've been hearing lead to tougher media regulations? We know we've had those reviews.
Yeah, I don't think what's happened between Today Tonight and Current Affair will have any effect on it. On that, I mean, if you've been watching these shows, they're delving in areas they've been to before. It's no great surprise. So I don't think that's going to have any impact.
Just looking at the ratings of that, the stories too.
Today Tonight, I think they're going to revisit the story again Thursday night, but on Wednesday night it didn't. Current Affair actually won the evening, so it didn't really pump up their ratings a lot. It's becoming more of a media interest story, I think, maybe than the general public. I think they think, look, if there's been some wrongdoing here, let's charge this guy and move on. Maybe they're getting a little bit sick of it.
All right, let's just turn now to the ratings for week 22, starting with the free-to-air TV first top 10. The Voice there for 9. Yet again at number 1, James.
Yeah, a couple of weeks left of The Voice.
And just turning the page, and you can see there 7 News, Downton Abbey winners for 7, and The Block.
And The Block, which we shouldn't underestimate for its crucial part of 9 sort of turnaround since Easter.
And looking at the subscription TV ratings, top 5 sport there, NRL games and AFL for Fox Sports 2 and Fox Footy, most watched. And looking at the top 5 non-sport, The Simpsons for Fox 8 there at number 1. Just beating out Grand Designs Australia. More on The Simpsons in just a moment.
Yeah, Harder Dixie, the last show in that series, will do very well for Fox 8.
All right, let's just have a look at some of the TV news. Back to the Rafters season's coming to an end. What's it going to be replaced by?
Winners and Losers moving back into the slot. They haven't officially announced that, but they're starting to promo the show, so it looks like they'll do that again. It's been sort of successful for them in the past, but with sort of the numbers down a little bit for Rafters, be interesting to see how our Winners holds up. But the consolidated ratings are becoming more important, which is the viewing that happens in the 7 days after the program aired. So those numbers for these sort of shows are very strong, so it can save a lot of programs which otherwise mightn't be kept on.
And much has been talked about in the past a week or so about Back to the Rafters and whether it's going to be around for much longer. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it'll still go. I mean, 7, if you look at the way 7 act, they're not going to let a show that's still doing sort of really good numbers just to think, maybe we should give it a rest. No, they'll keep running it until it's really, on this very last leagues. And I don't think it's there yet.
Just back to The Simpsons, which we saw, of course, do so well for Fox 8. It's now going to go back onto 10's main channel. Yeah,
10 are taking it, or just some episodes from 11, putting them back on Saturday nights, because their Saturday nights have been having a shocking run lately. Share's been well down. It's been their lowest night of the week most weeks this year, so they really want to try and pump those figures up a little bit on Saturdays.
Just looking at the Pride of Australia awards as well, last year they were aired on Sky News, and now Network 10 has won.
Network James Warburton's got involved there with a project dear to the heart to a few people at News. They award worthy Australians, give them a bit of a nod. And they're going to be doing an award special, and Sandra Sully's been appointed sort of a spokesperson, if you like, for the awards.
Also, the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. How could we not talk about this? It's been wall-to-wall coverage everywhere you look. How'd it rate?
Yeah, it did pretty well. It's been pretty odd hours, I guess, but where it did get into prime time was with the Jubilee concert, which was screened here on the Tuesday evening, I think it was. Went to air sort of live during the Today Show on 9 on Tuesday morning, but yeah, it did very well. By the time they'd put in all their Olympic promos and the ads, it ran for over 3 hours. And it did great figures, averaging over 1 million viewers, so fantastic numbers, and did great business in the UK too, of course.
Just wanted to go back to 10 as well, that we were mentioning earlier, the capital medal raising. They're talking about the weak ad market and
Sure.
being very little near-term visibility as well. Obviously, there's a lot of programs coming later in the year for 10 too. What do you think of all of this? And I know there's been a new appointment too as part of all this turnaround strategy.
Yeah, Lisa Fitzpatrick has been involved in production programs at 7 in the past. She's signed up with the executive team at 10. She's going to be looking after developing their own production department, something 7 have done very successfully. For instance, they produce and make Pack to the Rafters themselves, winners and losers, home and away. So, and it's a good business model for them. So 10 want to get a bit of that action and try and develop their own programs and perhaps make them in-house.
We've also seen the return of the late news too on 10 with Hamish McDonald. How has it rated so far? Yeah,
it's been operating in a band. I've sort of got figures for 3 nights so far. It's a high of about 190,000 and then 2 nights closer to 150. So, settle down. These shows tend to settle down pretty quickly these days. So, it's definitely going to settle in that band. They'd be hoping for some long-term growth perhaps, but it's not a bad start. They'd be hoping closer to the 200 for a long-term number for them.
Just, I guess, in terms of more executive movement and appointments as well, during the week we've seen Nicole Sheffield's executive team at News Life Media expanded with Sharon Witten going over.
Yeah, Sharon Witten, who used to work at Lifestyle with Nicole. She's a great appointment. She's going to Director of Communications for them. She's already started over there.
And at Fox Sports as well, John O'Sullivan's been appointed new Chief Operating Officer.
Yeah, she's got a background in football administration, so that was a good get for them this week. But they also lost somebody this week, so Sarah Keith is leading their sort of executive team. She's turned up at Fairfax, so a good appointment for them. It's going to be sort of looking after their print strategy. So it's we talked to them a little bit about this this week for the magazine, and yeah, they there's some speculation around that they're getting out of the print area. They want to focus on digital. Look, not true, so Fairfax. I mentioned before, print revenues are still very crucial to their business model, and Sarah will be sort of strategising on just, fine-tuning that a bit.
James, as always, thank you so much for that.
Thanks, Brian.
James Manning there, editor and publisher of Mediaweek. That's all we've got time for from the team here. Thanks for your company.